Hi, I'm the Dean of Credibility, Double D, and this is a YouTube exclusive for Double Stomp video. It is in the hot seat with the Dean of Credibility, and I'd like to start out with a few things. Now,
you didn't even introduce me, dude.
Well, this is, of course, well, you're so notorious. You're the Notorious One, Drew Blood.
Gosh, man, you're
people are coming in the door.
Strike number one.
People are coming in the door at this very
It's
distracting.
like Jimmy Dylon, that ain't people.
Oh, stop it. Put the guns back in for a minute here. Now,
yes.
I would like to introduce, of course, the Notorious One, Drew Blood. How long have you been in the business, very quickly?
How
many years?
I've had my first professional match August 31st of 2001, so it'll be coming up on 13 years.
Wow, 13.
Yeah, just vet status.
I'm going to take people back now. We're going to go back to December of last year, of course.
Yeah.
CZW, Cage of Death. Now, leading up to Cage of Death last year, you were very involved in the storyline.
To say the least.
To say the least, yes. First, let's talk about that angle. Of course, you got Rory Mondo, who is now retired.
Yes.
In that angle. The Bulldozer Matt Tremont. Heel turn, which was unprecedented in CZW at that time.
One of the best heel turns I've seen in wrestling in recent years because it was so unexpected. He had people crying. He had Captain Dave in tears.
Captain Dave.
And that's his all seriousness, you know.
Biggest work in the business.
Chair shot her around the world.
And you had, who else was on your team?
Ron Mathis.
That's right, Ron Mathis. Now,
the kid was only looking for a spot, man.
It's very odd because if you fast forward to now, there's only one person still involved.
And the angle's still going on.
With CZW. The angle still goes on, but let's go back to Cage of Death. Of course, this is a big night. It's the culmination of 6 months, 7 months, actually longer because you can go back 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
With Devin Moore and the Nation of Intoxication, all that sort of stuff. But we get to that night in December. What do you want to say?
Well, it originated out of...
there was some real life there, too.
When we talked about it, it originated that it was supposed to be me, Scotty Vortex, and Drake Younger against the Nation.
Yeah.
But
Drake had obligations, PWG.
Supposedly Drake didn't want to do death matches no more. I found out other reasons. From what I heard, he had personal problems with me and didn't want to work with me.
Really?
Never talked to him about it. I still like to know why, but and then Scotty just had problems with his father, and that's understandable, and just never came back to it. So when Tango Webb came around, it was just supposed to be me and Scotty against Lucky and Danny Havoc. The whole entire thing was set up that like me and Devin weren't going to touch each other until Night of Infamy.
Okay.
The whole that was like the whole thing, but it got screwed up. They didn't show up. Frankly, it was Scotty's had personal issues with his father. That's understandable. Drake just didn't show up. Yeah.
So you had to rewrite everything at that point.
Yeah, last minute. Yeah.
Bring in other people, and you were heavily involved in the booking of this angle.
Yeah, I don't think I get enough credit for that because for a while, Danny Havoc was in Japan, so I was pretty much laying down all the bases for the angle myself. I was cutting 3 to 5 promos a month.
Yeah.
To bring everybody in the angle together.
Even little pieces.
And throughout that whole 6 months, the Nation cut 1 or 2. I was cutting 3 or 5 every show for 6 months.
Very true.
So like, it may sound a little stingy, but I think I was the glue that held that angle together for 6 months.
And your direction.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your direction. Of course, working hand in hand with CZW owner DJ Hyde.
And Ron Mathis, he's coming all the way from the Midwest, Dayton, Ohio. He's just looking for a spot. And Rory, he got a golden opportunity. Some people don't think he deserved it, but he worked his ass off for that angle.
Certainly.
And I think he deserved every shot he had at it, and so did Ron. They stepped their game up highly. And pressed me. They took a lot of pressure off my shoulders because we didn't think it was going to work with them too.
Really? There were doubts.
It wasn't me that was doubting. But there was that the thought in the back of the head that they didn't know what direction it was going to go.
Yeah.
They didn't think it was going to go the way they wanted it to, but it worked out well.
Definitely.
And it worked out well all the way up till the cage. We were just waiting for it to crumble at one point. You know, it's not like we had doubts. We were just waiting for everything's going so good. Each month we were like, it's going to fall apart eventually. Something's going to get fucked up. But like, you know, and it didn't. It didn't.
How'd you feel going into Cage of Death that day? How did you feel about the angle in
I was happy with everything, especially coming off of Night of Infamy. I thought me and Devin, you know, even you know CZW taking my idea for the Notorious. I mean the scumbag ultraviolent scumbag rules match. That was all me. I came up with that, and they built everything I needed for it. You know, and I think it went off well. I was shocked that, you know, they took my idea and ran with it. So my whole thing going into Combat Zone, I thought I came up with a clean slate. You know, there were some personal problems before why DJ wouldn't bring me back. I'll discuss that later in my shoot interview. I'll save that for later, but
we're gonna get to it.
You know, yeah, but you know, going into Cage, I felt good. It was my first Cage. I was honored. I was main eventing four of the 5 shows. And
leading up to it.
Leading up to it.
From Tournament
So,
of
like,
Death,
you know, it's,
really from Tournament of Death on,
So
it was a Drew Blood driven story.
To me, I was like, wow, you know, like I thought DJ was like, you know, relying on me again. I thought I was part of the family again, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And going into Cage of Death, I was content because I was in there with guys that I trusted, guys that I grew up with in this business.
Devin Moore,
like my best friend for my whole career.
Tremont,
I trust that kid with, you know, he's like my little brother, you know. I love that kid more than I love him like a brother. Danny Havoc, I trust. I've worked with Lucky a million times. So like, you know, the only two like I didn't have any like, you know, long-term relationship with. I wasn't really worried about. You know, I had faith in them because they've been pulling down all the stops. You know, they've done everything they could.
Rory had a good angle with Havoc going in.
Rory really stepped it up. And they went far and beyond of their expectations throughout the whole thing. So, you know, I was pleased with going in there, and the whole Mondo thing, it was like a nice boost. You know, like
Certainly.
It was awesome.
I think there was, because CZW has such a different crowd from the time that Mondo was there, and Mondo was only in the business 3 years, but such a different crowd for CZW, so I think it was lost on some people, but the faithful that knew were certainly happy to see him again.
There's some people that, you know, thought the Cage was not up to expectations, but
really,
for what we had and what we built, and as many people was in the Cage, I thought it was a flawless Cage. There was no botch. There was nothing botched. Everything went smooth.
And there was no law in the action.
It was like a War Games.
It was.
We had one ring, and we had, you know, 4-on-3 and 4-on-4, and we're all in there at the same time, and like, you know, everything clicked. You know, like it's one thing after another. You know, like.
Let's talk about your spot with Devin off the off the scaffold. Now that was, anybody who's seen that. For those that haven't though, basically you're on a scaffold at least 15, 20 feet above the ring.
Yeah.
There's a table set up in the ring, and he does a front roll with you.
It wasn't a table. It was that fly swatter thing. The
thing
with the 6 steel chairs attached to it and a pane of glass.
So he takes you from that front roll, boom, right through and down. Fireman's carry roll, basically, off the scaffold. First of all,
little tidbit: I had glass coming out of my arms and back for 5 or 6 weeks.
I'm sure.
I found shards of glass everywhere.
But he kept you safe.
Dude,
looked absolutely destructive.
It was cake. You know, I mean, like.
Well, this is a guy you can trust.
Feel it, you know. You feel that kind of shit, but it was just. I wouldn't have it any other way. You know.
And I'll tell you what, there's little things that you do. The fact you stayed there in the ring and weren't carted off, didn't try to stumble to the back or anything, the fact you just laid out in the ring, it's little things that the Notorious One Drew Blood does that really stick in my mind.
Well, well, that was like the thing too. Like, you know, you take a bump like that, like, you know, what are you gonna get up and roll out of the ring because you're eliminated? No, like, you know, you're dead. I'm dead. You know, like if nobody came out to help me, I would have stayed there. But another reason why I stayed there is I wanted to be out there for the Mondo pop.
You wanted to watch it from
I'm watching this shit from the floor. I'm on a hear the eruption. I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. Because Rory's laying him. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm not going to leave in the ring, dude. Fuck this. I'm waiting for him to come out.
Yeah, true.
But like, but like in all seriousness, like, you know, you're going to take something, sell it, you know.
your thoughts on, well, you already kind of said
Yeah.
how you felt about the match itself, but
I enjoyed it.
how did you feel leaving? Like,
I was happy.
what's next, right, for CZW?
But dude, I was told numerous amount of things that the months prior to that. Me and DJ had conversations. I'm still getting my passport ready. I was told, we got a bunch of cities coming up this year.
Rhode Island, they have Ohio, they
So
go to.
I'm thinking.
Mexico.
I'm thinking,
Good things.
I'm here. I'm staying. I proved my worth. I proved that I got my job back. I proved that I can be a team player again in CZW.
Still go in the ring.
Hey, and I was happy and content with it. And
What happened in January?
I was so mad that I wanted to, and I love DJ to death. I do. I love him like a brother. I don't know what was going on. He says it's nothing personal, but in my opinion, I think there is. I approach him about January, and he tells me, I don't have nothing for you. I was like, so what about next month? I just don't have nothing. I was like, so basically, he just fucking used me for the cage, and that's it, right?
So he's left it open.
No explanation. He just had nothing for me, which I find fucking hard to believe.
Well, especially when you go 6 months leading into the cage.
And main event in all your shows.
So nothing for you.
Nothing for me.
How'd you feel when you hear that? Obviously, like you said, you proved your worth. And
I was more upset because I felt used, and personally.
on a personal level, we're not even talking in the wrestling world.
Yeah,
we're talking.
I didn't know what to think. I was angry, and people know I was angry because Dev see me storming out, and he never fucking really.
And this is at the
This
show.
is January show, and this is after the meeting. He never ever follows me, runs after me and asks me if I'm all right. And he came charging outside, and he's like, "What the fuck happened? What's going on?" I was like, I just went off. I was like, "You believe this?" He says he has nothing for me, and he was pissed because he didn't know nothing either.
How did it go with DJ? Was there shouting, or it was just pretty much?
No, DJ was being DJ. He was calm. I just have nothing for you. And I was like, what's the problem? Do we have something personal? No, nothing personal. I just have nothing for you.
Have you talked to him since? He's big on this.
No.
Talk to me.
Nope.
Let's hash it out, sort of guy.
No. If I go to CCW, I refuse to even go to the locker room.
Really?
Yeah. I barely go to CCW anymore. If I go there, it's just last time I was there was wanting to go pick up the backstage pass DVD, and that was about it. No.
What do you feel you have to do? Do you want to go back?
No.
No.
After that, if he could tell me he'll pay me double, I won't go back.
Really? It's.
I've killed myself for that company since 2008. I've been up and down the road with DJ. I've been on shows with him. We were friends, I thought we put, whatever personal issues he had with me, which I don't know still to this day. But, no. I felt betrayed a little bit,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to think. And I was, and I was even more pissed off because Mathis busted his ass. And he did the same thing to him.
Still hasn't been back.
That kid didn't deserve it. Me personally, all right, I understand. I don't, but I do more than I do Mathis. I understand why me than more Mathis, but that kid busted his goddamn ass. He may not be the best in the ring, dude, but he killed it. He stepped up to the plate and became a main event player for 6 months, and all he wanted was a job.
Mm.
That's all he wanted was a spot.
Now that was part of the angle, but it also was part of reality.
Yeah, that's all the kid wanted was a spot, man. That's all he wanted. That's the truth.
So the future for you, you don't see CZW as part of that future. What would it take?
Japan.
You
If he
went
called me
Japan?
up and said I'm gonna go,
Oh, okay.
if he called me up and said I want to take you to Japan, I'll go back to CZW. But
Voorhees not in the question.
I don't think so. I don't think myself that I could go worker.
Well, what do you think it is? Is it the fact that you don't want to invest that much time into something like that again and have it all?
Company's bullshit anymore anyway. It's all drama.
I've heard that.
Fucking.
I don't know for.
There hasn't been a person that earned their proper, respectful way to be in that company than I did. Like I did. I got my ass handed to me. Every month by Nick Gage and Nate Hatred and Drake Younger, I got beat the shit out of me. And these kids come in there, and I'm not mentioning names, but like they act like they run the place. And in my opinion, I think it's because guys like me, Dev, Danny Havoc. We know DJ. We know how DJ is. These new guys, he wants to have that power over them.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I don't care. I don't care anymore, Deej. You're a friend, dude, and you always will be. But inside the business, you're an asshole. I don't appreciate what you what you did to me, and I don't think I deserved it because I think I did more for you in 6 months. Took weight off his shoulders.
Yeah.
And I got thrown to the side like I was a fucking used condom.
It's a shame. So what's the future for you? On Point Wrestling, you're in the first round. Well, you've advanced past the first round. You beat Pinky Sanchez.
Yeah. This company.
What's On Point?
I considered my home when I first got here. I got back to CZW. A lot of people thought that because I went back to CZW that I was going to sideline On Point Wrestling, but really I went to CZW to get my name back out there. Mm-hmm. So when I'm here, the company gets more recognition. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And not to mention, the cards we've been having, dude. The talent's unbelievable in this company, and the atmosphere when you walk in here, everybody's got a goddamn smile on their face.
True.
There's no bickering, nothing. There's no cliques. It's somewhere I like to be, and it's a lot of younger kids. So, 13 years being in the business, I get to, sit around and give these younger guys my knowledge. Mm-hmm. I'm not a stubborn old vet. I don't say fuck these kids. They don't have no respect. No, I sit there and watch these kids bust their ass as much as I busted my ass, and I want to pass my knowledge on because I came back from retirement, but shit, man, I don't know how much longer I'll be around.
So that kind of leads into tonight at Relentless. This obviously will be out after Relentless. Yes. But tonight you're taking on a youngster, Josh Crane.
Yes.
Who impressed people 2 months ago, taking on another youngster, Oz Tyler. What's it mean getting in there as you pass your knowledge on?
When On Point, booked me versus Josh Crane, I was actually a little excited because to me, it's a test for me because I could test my ability. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a young kid that has a good technical background, has good technical skills, and I could get in there and roll around him and prove that I can still go. But I want to go in there and I want to try to elevate this kid to a higher status in On Point. You know what I mean? The kid deserves it. He's a good worker. He's very respectful. I'm going to go in there and work him.
All right.
And
any thoughts as you move on in the On Point title tournament? You're taking on Oz Tyler.
Yes. Another kid that the firm. Another kid that's it's a different breed with these guys. A lot of these guys are humble. They respect the business. I haven't seen that in a while. And it's another kid I want to take to his limit, and I hope he takes me to mine.
And is that in July or?
That's September.
September.
Yes.
So that's September. Drew,
yes.
I hope you feel a little better. You got a few things off your chest today. We'll get more into that with the Drew Notorious
That's just the icing on the cake.
That's just.
I mean,
that's the cherry, not even the icing.
We can get in depth with that. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to
give away.
I didn't want to lash out. We could talk about that again, and you want me to really go off? I'll really go off. You know what I mean? But
well, I don't think. Look, the idea is not to necessarily go off, but if you have things to get off your chest.
Oh.
More than.
Dude, I've been around so long, and I'm getting tired of holding shit back.
Well, 13 years, I think you have enough of a say to speak your mind. But I was with the Notorious One, Drew Blood. I'm the Dean of Credibility, Double D. You can find me at Folsom County. You can find Drew Blood at Philly Drew Blood on Twitter. And make sure you check out Double Stomp Vids at Double Stomp Vids on Twitter. Drew, it was an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Dean. One more thing.
Thick. There you go.